Hello, welcome back to Beauty Bee. In today's video, I'm going to be doing two looks using the Taupe palette that I put together based off of the ColourPop That's Taupe new collection. Mine veers a bit more purple mauve than ColourPop's does, which stays very much in the super brown toned taupes. And today I'm going to be doing I think sort of duochrome purple to true brown taupe eyelid, some gray in the outer corner and under the eye, and go with a pink lip to match my shirt. So I think I'm actually going to start with the lips. I currently have just a little bit of a stain left over from the ColourPop Chimichanga. Just a tint. I'm covering that up with Flower Beauty Rosy Garden. Okay, I think I'm going to add just a little bit of a creamier, softer pink lipstick on top. This is Maybelline Pink for me. I'm just going to dot a little bit of that. I don't know that that made much of a difference, but I like it. I think you can see it's got a little bit of a glossy piece right at the center. Maybe I shouldn't just gesture with my lipstick rolled up and open. That seems a likely way to end a tragedy. Okay, so now let's get to the palette. And I'm gonna start off, I've actually already primed my eyelids as well as done my brows. I'm gonna start off, I think, with this purple. And I'm going to put that all over my lid. I'm going to build this shade up to be quite full color, as you can probably tell. The shade that I put on top, I want to be a little bit more sheer. I just love that shade. I think it's so pretty. Okay, now we are going to actually bring in the taupe into this taupe tutorial with the shade. I'm going to take that on a shader brush, this one, and put that all over the top of where I placed the purple. My goal with this is that you'll be able to see the purple underneath, and it will really come through at certain angles. Because you know how shimmers tend to almost look kind of patchy sometimes when you turn your head, because the shimmer particles just hit the light in slightly different ways. I want to recreate that on my eyes, and when you would normally see through this taupe shade, you'll see the purple underneath. I do like that. I think you can almost see a little bit more of the purple peeking through than I intended. but I think the midpoint of those two shades is really pretty. Okay, so I think I'm going to add a little bit of that purple to the inner corner. I didn't actually bring a brush that was appropriate to do that, so I'm just going to use my finger. Tiny bit on my pinky. Stop that. Right on the inner corner. I got that a little further than I wanted to on this side, but just blend it out a little bit, and I think that's actually looking pretty good. Now I do want a little bit more depth and a little bit more dimension in this look, so I'm going to go in with this gray shade on a smudger brush, and I'm going to put a little bit of it on the outer corner, and then I'm going to smudge it under my lower lash line. My stomach is making noises. I hope that doesn't come off on camera. You already ate breakfast, friend. You don't need any more. I'm just going to blend that out with my finger because it got a little out of control. Add a little more to that side because I can't quite even it out. Can't beat them, join them. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. And then under the eyes. Okay. I do think that I'm gonna see how I'm feeling after I put in my transition shade, but I think that I might take some makeup remover and go over those little areas. And speaking of my transition shade, I don't have it. 1 second. I'm going to use the shade on the other side of that brush, which is a blender brush, and pick up some of that shade, tap it off. These shades are really blendable, but they are also very powdery. So I suppose that's the trade-off. And I'm just gonna go all over the outer edges of this look. I do have a white, so I'm not gonna worry too much about going almost to my brow bone. I just want to blend things. Dip in again for the other side. Okay, so that's looking good. And I'm going to go into this white that has just a little bit of a pink cast to it. Very similar to the pink we just used. This has a lot of powder kick-up, so I want to tap that off, and I'm just going to go right under the brow. All right, I like that look a lot. I do think that I'm going to add a little bit of blush, and for that, I pulled out this. I think I'm going to actually end up mixing it with a little bit of this glowy pink Wet n Wild blush. I think that this by itself might be a little too intense, but we shall see. I actually like that a lot more than I thought I would. Okay, cool. Love it when things work out that way. Sorry if that was loud. I think I'm also going to dip into a mixture of these two shades and use it to highlight my cheekbones. Okay, so I think overall that's looking pretty good. I do want to add a little bit of mascara, probably just to my top lashes today. All right, I actually ended up doing very little removal. I just did a tiny bit on this side. Let me show you what the eye look looks like. I don't know how well it's going to come off on camera, but in person, right where the light hits, you can see quite a bit more of the purple sheen coming through, whereas everywhere else on the eye, you see more of this sort of ash blonde taupe color. This is a really great way to get use out of your more interesting colors, even if you work in a somewhat professional environment. I mean, I don't know that I would wear exactly this in a professional setting. Probably wouldn't have put the purple inner corner, but I think that most of the eye look would be appropriate for most workplaces, even though it includes this super icy iridescent blue purple, which is not going to come off nearly as well in that swatch as I want it to. And there we are. All right, I will see you tomorrow for me, or, you know, in like 5 seconds for you for the next look. Hello again. Today I again come with my brows done, eye primer, any face products, which I don't think I'm wearing any today, and a little bit of ColourPop Chimichanga on, because that has become my go-to lip balm to putz around the house in the morning before I get dressed. So let's do it. Today I want to do a little bit more of a sparkly, that purple side of taupe look than I did yesterday, and I'm going to start off with a bang and this color. I'm just going to take that on my finger and I'm going to put that pretty much all over my lid. I will leave the very outer corner bare as well as the very inner corner, but otherwise all this. I love how I decided to put on a bunch of gold jewelry before I started filming my taupe tutorial. That was a brilliant move on my part. Like, I'm by no means of the opinion that you need to match your jewelry to your outfit or your makeup, but this is it's a little too much contrast for me personally. I'm just going to keep building that up because I want it to be intense. I think one more fingerful. I'm going to go through this shade ridiculously quickly. I love it so much. I think it's so pretty. It's got so much sparkle in it, but the sparkle really does stay in place. Actually already have my inner corner prepped with some NYX glitter primer. And now I'm going to go into the Super Shock, which looks much warmer in the pan than I think it comes off on the eye. And really, I think the ColourPop one, the ColourPop Taupe palette, I think has an extremely similar shade, though maybe not a Super Shock. I'm just going to stick that in the inner corner. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit more of that just on my finger. I mean a little bit, yay much. And I'm going to pat that right around that area, right around that inner corner, but overlapping a little bit. Like that. I do like that sparkle. Other side. So next step, I think that I'm actually going to use the same color here on the outer corner as well as blend it up into my crease. For the outer corner, I'm just going to take a clean finger and pat it on the outer corner of my eye. More. All right, so that's looking very good. Now for the crease, I'm gonna take it on this super fluffy brush, same shade, and blend out that entire area. All the edges. So I think that's looking good. I do want to add a little bit of something under my eye. And I think for that, I'm actually going to go in to the Maybelline City Mini palette and this shade. It has just a little bit more brown to it than what I've used so far, and I think it's really going to make this look like a taupe look rather than a purple look, because I mean, everything I have on my eye right now, I could somewhat describe as taupe, but I think you could also legitimately describe it as purple. Where did I put it? And there it is. Too many open eyeshadows sitting in front of me. All right. And now I think I'm going to add a little bit of brow bone highlight. And for that, I'm going to use the same shade and I think even the same brush that I used yesterday. This one. Put that under the brow real quick. Okay, I think that's the eyeshadow. I am going to clean up this. It's just a little too much for me personally. And I think I'll also put on mascara and then I'll be back. And I have returned to do cheeks and lips. And I think I'm going to start with cheeks. Again, with the same blush I used yesterday. This purpley mauvey color. Again, I think same brush even, and just, ooh, let's not make it mess. It is rather polite of my makeup how it listens to me. You know, I tell it not to make a mess and then it immediately ceases. If it was floating in the air, it disobeys gravity in order to obey its master, me. And I'm topping that off with a little bit of Harmony, which is just a nudie pink. Just like that mixture. Snap. And I do want a little bit of glow, not insane amount. So I'm going into my Hummingbird highlight in Don't Flutter Yourself highlight brush. I'm really just tracing the apples of my cheeks rather than highlighting all on my cheekbone, because I found that putting this too far back just doesn't look, not even natural, it just looks uncanny valley a little bit, which can be a look, but it's generally one I try to avoid. And I think I'm going to go pretty pink on the lips. This is Secret Club from Revlon. It's this shade. It's a creme finish. Just like how that plays with the cooler tones that are going on in the eyes. All right. Well, I think that we are good. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing me use my ideal taupe Franken palette over the past couple days. I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing if you did, and I look forward to seeing you next time.